After your paste has cooled down, and it might be the next day, that's fine, we're going to make our beautiful paste paper to cover our books. This is what Canson paper looks like. I described it in the lecture. It's basically big construction paper, but it's very, very sturdy, and it holds up to water, paste, and it doesn't tear. It's a very good choice. The CCC bookstore has it, a lot of different colors. I found 2 different pieces of orange paper that I like, so that's what I'm going to start with. So you use some kind of disposable cups. In this case, come just a bit closer. I have these paper cups, plastic cups, and I dumped a bunch of paint in. This is acrylic paint, which is basically just craft paint. So you don't want oil-based paint, and you don't want watercolor paint. You just want craft paint, basically. So this is the fun part. You start mixing it up with your paste. What we're going to do really is just finger paint. But because the color is mixed into this paste, it has a very thick texture, and you can do a lot of really fun, interesting things with it. So this is I'm mixing up orange, yellow, and red. I'm going to write a book that has a theme of orangeness to it. So I'm kind of thinking about my colors being related to that idea of orangeness. So I've got my colors mixed up. One tool that I'm going to use is this one. You get it at the hardware store. It's like 50 cents. It's actually a tool for spreading glue if you're going to put bathroom tiles in. But it's a fun tool to use for making paste paper. You could use a pine cone, you could use a shell, you could use a hairbrush, rubber stamps. If they're big rubber stamps, little tiny ones don't work. You can just use your fingers if you want. This is a very fun project to do with kids. The paint is not toxic, so it's very safe even for little kids, and it's a fun project. So now, okay, I'm going to show you what I do, which is I'm going to smear this paste, and it's important that you cover every bit of it all the way to the edges, because if you don't cover every bit of it, it will dry funny, and you don't want that. So covering every bit of it. I like the contrast of the lighter orange against the darker orange. You want to put lots of newspapers down. When you're all done, you're going to pick it up and put it on some clean newspapers to dry, because otherwise it'll stick to this, and you don't want that. So I've got every bit of it, all the way to the edges is covered. I'm going to have some kind of fun with color. Here's some of my yellow paint. See how that kind of mixes in? Makes it a little bit fun. I'm going to add a little bit of the red. So just basically having fun. Don't get the paste on really, really thick. Like here, I'm going to be careful not to have it really, really thick, because it'll never dry. Also, if you happen to have a few lumps in your paste, just pick them out. That's fine. Sometimes I like to add a splash of just paint right on it. Whoop, that was too much probably, but I kind of like that. So just kind of some random little blobs of color. And then it can be really fun, whoops, too much, to add metallic paint, because then when it dries, it gives a little bit of a sparkle to it. So I'm pretty happy with my colors on here. Now I'm going to start thinking about a design. So you can, use your fingers, use those tools that I was talking about. This is the tool that does the tiling. And it has different sized teeth. You could choose what kind of a pattern you want. I find that diagonals are kind of nice. See, I'm working on a diagonal here, because then if you don't line it up correctly on your cover, it doesn't look funny. If you have an exact vertical or an exact horizontal, it can look kind of funny on your book sometimes. So again, this is just an abstract image. I'm not trying to paint a tree or paint a foot. I'm not trying to put words on it. I just think a nice abstract pattern looks really good. And I'm done what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna pick this up and set it onto some clean newspaper to dry. And then I've got one other piece of Canson paper. I'm gonna make a second pattern. One is for the outside of your cover and one is for the inside of your cover. It's nice to have them different from each other. And they're gonna have to dry overnight, so then tomorrow I can start working on my next phase of this, which is making my covers. Thanks.